So due to certain technical issues, I got disconnected. And here I'm just making a second part of today's video, explaining the remaining one, that is the pulmonary circulation. And the main component of the pulmonary circulation are the pulmonary arteries and the pulmonary veins. Now, normally we have seen that an artery carries oxygenated blood from the heart to various parts of the body, while a vein drains all the deoxygenated blood from various parts of the body back towards the heart. So all arteries do carry blood away from the heart, and every vein, except the portal veins, of course, rest all of the veins will carry blood or pour the blood that is moving back towards the heart. But there are exceptions amongst arteries which do not carry oxygenated blood, and the chief exception in that is the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery begins as the pulmonary trunk, as you all can see here on the screen, that's highlighted in pink. That is the pulmonary trunk. This pulmonary trunk goes on to divide into the right and the left pulmonary arteries. I'll just highlight that as well. So that's the right pulmonary artery, which is highlighted in pink in the background. You can see that. And I will also highlight the left pulmonary artery. That is highlighted here. I'll just slightly tilt it to show it to you all. Yes, you can see the left pulmonary artery as well. Now, these right and the left pulmonary arteries are the branchings of the pulmonary trunk. Now, as far as the pulmonary arteries are concerned, they carry deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle. So the origin of the pulmonary trunk is from the right ventricle, which then sends this blood to the lungs for getting oxygenated. And oxygenated blood from the lungs is returned back to the left atrium of the heart by the pulmonary veins. Now, there are two pairs of pulmonary veins, one pair coming from each lung. Now, I'll highlight these pulmonary veins also to you all one by one. So these pulmonary veins are named as the right superior pulmonary vein, which is highlighted in pink now. Then you have the right inferior pulmonary vein. So that makes one pair of pulmonary veins from the right lung. Likewise, you will also have the left superior and the left inferior pulmonary vein. I will just highlight the left superior and the left inferior pulmonary veins as well. So first, coming to the left superior pulmonary vein. There you go on your screen. That's the left superior pulmonary vein. And then you have the right superior, the left inferior pulmonary vein, which is left. So that's the left inferior pulmonary vein that you can see highlighted in pink on your screen now. So these four pulmonary veins, one pair coming from the right lung, one pair coming from the left lung, pour all the oxygenated blood from the lung into the left atrium. I repeat, they pour all the oxygenated blood into the left atrium. So this is about the pulmonary circulation. So I repeat again, the pulmonary trunk, which arises from the right ventricle, carries all the deoxygenated blood to the lung. It divides into the right and the left pulmonary arteries that enter into the respective lungs. Further, they divide into the pulmonary capillaries. Oxygenation takes place. The oxygenated blood is returned from both the lungs back to the left atrium via the four pulmonary veins, one pair of pulmonary veins from the left lung and one pair from the right lung. So there'll be four openings in the left atrium for the four pulmonary veins. So this is in brief about the pulmonary circulation. So what you all need to remember here is that pulmonary veins are an exception because they carry oxygenated blood, while pulmonary arteries are also an exception amongst the arteries because they carry deoxygenated blood. So whenever you are asked to define an artery or a vein, we always write a definition as arteries are blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart, and veins are blood vessels which carry blood towards the heart. Okay. So I hope that pulmonary, renal, and hepatic circulation concepts are clear to all of you. Now, the next that I'll move on to is the lymphatic system. Now, in grade 10, you do not have a detailed description of the lymphatic system. You will, however, be seeing the major lymphatic organs, the lymph nodes, the tonsils, the spleen. Okay, this is what you'll be observing in this in the continuity of this video. So now starting with the lymphatic system. Now the main purpose of the lymphatic system is the circulation of a colorless fluid that is called as the lymph. We've already studied in the chapter circulatory system in detail, the relationship between the blood, the lymph and the tissue fluid. So the liquid part of the blood that drains out through the capillary pores goes on to form the interstitial fluid or simply the tissue fluid. Most of this tissue fluid enters into a second system of circulation, which is called as the lymphatic system. So these green colored channels that you see throughout are the lymph vessels. And the purpose of the lymphatic system is basically to ensure the drainage of all the tissue fluid back and ultimately mix it with the blood. So it does not allow the tissue fluid to accumulate. Otherwise, that can lead to edema. Now, as this fluid which enters into the lymphatic system, the tissue fluid which now enters the lymph capillaries or the lymph vessels, now is referred to as the lymph. It is colorless because it does not have the RBCs. It obviously has the WBCs. Now, this lymph along its path is drained through various lymph nodes. The purpose of those lymph nodes is to filter the lymph. So whatever toxins or pathogens that may be present in the tissue fluid and have entered in along with that tissue fluid into the lymphatic circulation. So those toxins will be filtered by these lymph nodes. So you can see here, I'm selecting this one of the lymph nodes. Okay, so now lymph nodes are usually present in a very high concentration in specific parts of the body, such as in the groin, in the armpit, in the neck region, around the abdominal region, because these are all the possible entry points for the pathogens to enter into our body. Now, if I show you a cross section of the lymph nodes, which I can probably show it to you all in a different video, not right now. The lymph nodes inside show a network of tissues and spaces through which the lymph will flow. And there will be different types of WBCs, chiefly the monocytes and the lymphocytes that will be present to engulf any foreign unwanted substances. And then that filtered lymph is further allowed to drain into the blood. Now, the main organ of our lymphatic circulation is the spleen. So if I have to show you the location of the spleen, I will just fade the stomach here. Or probably I can hide it because the spleen is located behind the stomach. Yeah. You can see here, if I turn it around, that is more easier. The spleen is a fist-sized organ that is located right behind the stomach and above the left kidney. So you can see here, this is the left kidney that I'm now highlighting on your screen. And just above that is the spleen. That's the organ that we are talking about, the main organ of the lymphatic system. Now, the spleen acts as a reservoir of blood. So whenever there is an emergency, the excess blood can be released from the spleen. The spleen is also a lymphoid organ. It is also involved in lymphopoiesis, or you can also say leukopoiesis, formation of certain type of white blood cells. And the spleen is also the graveyard for the RBCs. So the dead and the worn out RBCs are destroyed in the spleen, which it jointly performs this function with the liver. Now, the next key component of the lymphatic system that you have are the tonsils. I'll just highlight the tonsils on your screen now. Now, the first out of the three pairs of tonsils are highlighted here on your screen. These are the pharyngeal tonsils. The next one that I come to is the left palatine tonsil. And then you also have the right palatine tonsil. As far as the tonsils are concerned, these are meant to localize the infection and prevent them from spreading in general throughout the body. I repeat, the function of the tonsils is to localize the infection and prevent it from spreading all across the body. So that is called as, that's the function of the tonsils. So giving you a brief about the lymphatic circulation. So as I just mentioned at the start that the function of the lymphatic system is to drain all the excess tissue fluid back into the blood before it returns back to the heart. So there are two major lymph vessels. One is the right lymphatic duct. As far as the right lymphatic duct is concerned, it drains the lymph from the right side of the head, neck, thorax, and the right upper limb into the major blood vessel, which joins into the superior vena cava before the blood is returned back into the right atrium. So the right lymphatic duct, in short, drains blood from the upper right quadrant. I repeat, it drains all the lymph. I'm sorry. It drains all the lymph from the upper right quadrant. Now coming to the left lymphatic duct. Yes. What you see highlighted in pink is the left lymphatic duct, which is also called as the thoracic duct. Now it drains the lymph from the left side above the diaphragm, as well as from the rest of your body below the diaphragm also. So the upper left quadrant and the remaining part of your body below the diaphragm, the lymph from all these regions is drained by the thoracic duct or the left lymphatic duct into the major blood vessel, which ports the deoxygenated blood back into the superior vena cava to return it back to the heart. So ultimately, the purpose of the right and the left lymphatic ducts is to pour the lymph and mix it back with the blood so that the normal volume of blood is restored. An additional advantage of the lymphatic system is that it can distribute oxygen and nutrients to those parts of the body where the blood vessels may not be able to reach out. So this is in brief about the lymphatic system. So this was my final concluding video of the circulatory system. The next video that I'll be uploading will be of the excretory system. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'm open to suggestions. So you can always mention the suggestions in the comment section. Thank you once again.